Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Hello, Roshni. You're audible. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yep. We'll
Uh,
just wait for everybody to join. I'll
yep,
send in a reminder as well.
okay.
Yep.
Is my screen visible?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Very good evening to all attendees and Roshni. Today is the third day of our Android camp. I hope all of you have installed your Android Studio. You're ready for the latest agenda that we're going to discuss today. Um, we'll wait for other attendees to join. And in the meanwhile, good evening, everybody. In the meanwhile, Roshni, could you just introduce yourself and then the agenda for the day?
Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Rosni Sahu. So, I'm the lead of Android development in GDSC AUM. So, today we're going to learn about Kotlin and it's Kotlin's newest feature called Jetpack Compose. So, Jetpack Compose, you must be wondering what it is. If you had attended last week's sessions, you have seen like nicely explaining all the basic functionalities of it. So today we're going to make an app using Jetpack Compose with Kotlin in Android Studio. Yes. I hope everyone has Android Studio downloaded. I'll be sharing my screen shortly and we can start building an app.
Thank you so much, Roshni. I'll be there in the background and listening to what you talk about, and I'll be calling a little bit of more people from Discord.
Yeah, sure.
All the best.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Roshni, are we ready now? Can we start?
1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Hope it's visible. Is my screen visible to everyone?
We can see the screen.
Okay, great. So we're going to start with coding with making apps with Jetpack Compose in Android Studio. So last week we gave you guys this link for all the pathways explaining step by step all the basic fundamentals of learning Kotlin and making an app through Kotlin. So in the first unit we had these introduction to programming in Kotlin, set up Android Studio, building a basic layout. So in today's session, I'm going to be starting on making a basic app. So I'll show you guys step by step how to start Android Studio, how to make a new project, and how we can like make the new activities. So in unit 2 of the pathway, we have add a button to an app. So if you just go there, you can see intro to dice roller app. So in this app, basically it has an image of a dice and there's a button below it. So every time you click the button, it changes the image of the face of the dice. So like on a first, it will be just randomized. So on the first click, it might be 2, and the second click, it might be 6. So it's just a randomized app that makes the dice roll. So it's a great app if you want to like make it with play games with your friends and stuff. So you could use this app. So and it also just shows us the basic like how we can start making an app in Android Studio with Jetpack Compose. So I'll start my Android Studio. I hope you guys have all downloaded from last week's session. So while that's loading, you can see the look inside the pathways. By the end of the boot camp, you guys have to complete all of the pathways and the quizzes below it. So for every path, there's a quiz. So if you can complete it, it'll be great.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. I don't know whether it's just me or everybody. I'm not actually able to see the screen being shared. Is it visible? Can you type in the chat?
Are you able to see my Google screen, like my?
All right, all right. I believe the screen is visible. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I'll refresh my browser and come back.
Okay, Android Studio is just booting up right now. Okay, it opened. Everyone is able to see the Android Studio, the start page, right? Okay. So, in order to make a new project, first, when you open Android Studio, it will have like a basic just menu page where you can make projects, customize, add in plugins. Important part is it makes because when you get plugins, sorry, you can add them into your app and it gets more functionalities and features into your app. So right now we want to make a new project using Jetpack Compose. So in this right hand corner, we see a new project. Just click on that. And now we have a new screen. It's all these different options for new activities. Activity in Android Studio is just the like screens, like so where the main app have the backend. It just all shows in the main activity. So for making a Jetpack Compose activity, you'll see one option, Empty Compose Activity. Just click this, and now you'll get an option to name your application. So because we're going to make the dice roller app, I'll just name it dice roller. Okay, so then we have the package name. So in this package name is just the place where it gets stored in your computer. So in our files, it gets stored in our C drive inside Android Studio projects inside Dice Roller, and in Dice Roller app with packages. And these packages we can access them using our import and export stuff. So it's like Kotlin is kind of like Java in many ways. So if you know Java, you can understand what importing packages and interfaces actually mean. So yeah. So once click on API number, so Android 5.0 is like the it's an Android version. So if you use 5.0, it will run on most of your Android devices, like 98.8% of devices, which is a good number. So we'll just go ahead with that and finish. So now it's loading the workspace. Okay, we'll just wait for it to load and boot. Okay, so on the top, it's project sync in progress. So Gradle is just the place where the Android apps, the how it works, separate interface where the apps are running in our Android Studio, and that project has to synchronize with our current project. So once it's done synchronize, actually start our coding and stuff. On the bottom, you see this bar. So once this bar is full, then that means the Gradle has completed synchronizing and we can start our program. On to see a so in here like project packages. So the one you want to have selected is Android. So in Android, this when you click on Android, it just shows all your packages in an organized manner that's going to be the same way as you make your app. So like your apps, the main activity of your app will be in the package that you have made while setting up the project. So that's our package. And in our package, we have our main activity, which has already the default main activity. It's a Kotlin file. So when we start a new empty compose activity, this is the code that's already given to us. So obviously, if we run this right now, it will just print hello Android. So if to see what we're printing on the Jetpack compose, we have to build and refresh. So right now it's just the default screen and the build. So when it builds for Jetpack Compose, we have building, and we have these annotations of composable. So composable just calls the Jetpack Compose, and we can modify our UIs. In the regular Android Studio, instead of using annotations, we just use one a separate markup language called XML. So right here, while using Jetpack Compose, we don't have to use XML. Everything can be done in just one activity screen. And here we have our main function, our main class, and that we have our main function inside our class. So like here we see function on create. In Kotlin, on create is like Java's equivalent of void main. So main is like the program starts its running. So in Kotlin, our main function is called onCreate. This is a keyword that is it doesn't work, so don't mess with that. And see, in the right side, our build has completed. And now we can see that here it has printed Hello Android. Hello Android is written here in the UI. So we'll be seeing how to change the UI and stuff to make it so that we can have our app of our desire. So first thing we have to do is change the greeting. Greeting is like the function definable. So if here in this function, we just have to change greeting to the function we want to name this as. So let's name it as yeah, I think because we want to make a dice app, so we'll just name it like dice roller app or something. So dice with button. That kind of like tells what we're actually doing in this function. Button and image. And here it's written name string. Modifier. In Kotlin, modifier is a function that can, once we initialize it, we can change the annotations and the functionalities of those annotations inside our program. So we have to say modifier equals to modifier. So this is how we just initialize the modifier. Yeah. And in text, so for this app, we want, if we see in our pathway, how it actually looks like. It's like it has a dice, an image of a dice in the center, and it has this roll button. So to get the picture of a dice, we'll just yes, we need to download some images of dices. So what we can do, we can just go to just Google or yeah, dice faces, and then we just have to download a few images. Dice face one. Okay, this is good enough. I'll download this. I'll say dice one. Save it. And then we'll have a dice two, and then I'll just save that as well. So right now I'm just like downloading all the faces of the app. It's taking some time. So the second one is number 1 with 6 faces. Okay, now that I have all the faces of the dice downloaded, I'll just go back to my Android Studio, and what I have to do, I will go to res. Res means the resources that we are saving. So I just go to drawable, and then I just go to where I've stored the pictures. So I've stored them in downloads. I just like copy them. So yeah. Okay, copy, and then I'll just paste them directly into my drawable file. The drawable file is where we store all our images and pictures. So I just say okay. Yeah. So it's all there now. Yeah. So, oh yeah, before we had initialize this function, so we also have to initialize here the same, and let's define the functionalities of this function. First thing, we have to define a value. Value is image resource, type it. We use the same way as we save, uh, as we name our Java files with like the camel method. Just do the same for like this as well. So image resource, we'll just be here. So we'll use some logic. But our and press the button, the face of the dice has to change. So we'll use an if-else condition. And in Kotlin, if-else is called as when-else. So instead of if, we'll have when result. The result is where we're saving the randomized number. So in this, the number could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 because it's a dice. So we have 1 equals to r dot drawable dot dice. So here I'm just calling, oh wait, sorry, dice1. So here in this drawable file, I have saved all these images of dices. So it's just going to call the r dot drawable dot dice from that from our resources package. So then we have 2 r dot drawable dot dice 2. And just like that, I'm going to copy paste this line 6 times. So 1, 2, 3. And because it's a 6 would be the last statement, so instead of just directly writing it, I'll just write it as an else. Else when 6. Okay, when it's else, you don't have to actually tell the compiler that you have to run the 6th one because it will give the 6th one. Now we're going to use a special Jetpack compose function called column. So what column does, it just prints everything in a nice column, a straight column. So it won't, while printing it, it won't be like scattered. So we have, again, a modifier function. Horizontal alignment is another predefined function that we're calling from Jetpack Compose's built-in functions. So in this function, it just shows like how the alignment will be in during the interface. Alignment. And I'll just put it like in the center and then horizontally. So it will be set in the center of the screen. And inside of that, I'll put the brackets and just call my images. Image is another composable. So image, enter, equals to enter resource. Content description is again another composable function that tells what we'll actually define inside the content. The string, and so that will just this will just connect our images to our function, and that function will then print it in the composable. So right now I have to like import some functions. So for image, there's image resource and result. Result and image resource, we have to define it once we get into the resource package. And I will have spacer. Spacer function just gives a space between the image and then the button that comes below the image. Okay, I'll call this dp is just the image size, space size. And then button. For a button, we have to also give it an on-click command. So like in a regular Kotlin XML, we have a clickable function. And when you use that function, you can make that particular element clickable. So we have on click equals to, we'll just define it. Result equals to, we have like 6 varied results. So I'll just put 1.6. One is like 1.6 is like if we had a for loop, it will just like vary the numbers from 1 to 6, and then random. Random will just pick a random number from those. Yeah. Then inside the button, I want to text like in our example, we had this role. So the button has a image, text of role on it. So you just write that as well. So for making it text, we just say text in brackets. Text equals to string resource. That's for defining a string. And then you say, I'll just give a double quotations equals to, double quotations, and then row. Okay. Font size is it will be just the font size of the text. So we want it to be like smaller than our button size. So I'll just make it 24.sp. The button also, I need to import one more package. Let's do that. Yeah, and then we're fine. So I think we have defined everything that will go inside our column. So in our column, we have an image, we have the spacer, which is the space between the image and the next button. And inside the button, we have the text. So I'll just close this function, the first function of this composable annotation. I think it should be closed now. Wait, I think I forgot a bracket somewhere. Right. So because this function, we have to call this function again in our main activity app, we need to define the entire function within with a variable called result. So that result actually stores the result, and that we'll use a remember or object. So once we put the remember object, we can call it again in other objects that we're going to define in the main activity. Remember. And inside remember, we'll have mutable state of. Mutable is just like in common English means to mutate means to change. So if you can change something, the values, we'll use the mutable state of. Okay. So we have a dice with image, and then we have our mutable function, our image resource, our column, and after our column, we have button, text, and I'll just close the function. Now, we'll just define it this in our main class. So in main class, we have to do some modifications. So override run on create, that's fine. That's the main function. So super, it's called this super keyword is just calling another package that's defined inside Kotlin, which is just used for just generating the app. Set content is a special function by Jetpack Compose. In this, we'll have all the connections to our UIs and our apps. So we have our dice roller theme. So that's just the general theme of the app. Okay, and then inside that surface just gives the color, the background. We can just change the background of the app, but for now we don't need it. This is a general white background will suffice. And inside our dice roller theme, I'll just call a new function. I'll call this function dice roller app. So this is a main app calling function. So this dice roller app, we have to define this as well. So go down and just create a new composable function. Sorry, the composable, the C has to be capitalized in order for it to work. And then inside, I'll just call the same function I've defined here. So fun is meaning function, dice roller app, and then inside both places. And then inside this dice roller app, I'll call my previous function, dice with button and image. Copy that and paste it inside our app function. And we want to modify this, so let's just put the modifier function, parameter, modifier dot fill max size. Fill max size is a function that enables the components that we're putting in the app to fill the entire screen. So it makes the app look more like concise. So inside our after the fill max size, and then I'll also give another function called content size. So that just aligns everything into one size. So inside I'll just put alignment. I want the center to be aligned. Okay. So that's it for our dice roller app. And then I'll just close this. dice roller. Is it closed? Guess I need to put one more bracket here. Yes. And then, okay. Now I to this function. And let's, yeah. So our main activity is actually done. Now we're just going to define our themes. In UI theme, it's just these are just like base default values. So in color, we can store the colors that we want to add throughout our app. So right now, we're not going to go inside color, but colors available default. So there's purples and teals, and these are the hex codes of those colors. In shape, so you can give them the size. In theme just store color palette your app like by default. If you just want to be the same theme, we can just define a function and call that function throughout. So all our different screens in the app will be of the same theme. Type is the of the app, so the text and the fonts and the font size, font weight is like the if it's bold or if it's thin, and font family is the font type of font. So because of these Kotlin files in Compose, these are just in Jetpack Compose. So because of them, we can easily just call these functions whenever we want anything to be of this like shape or theme or color, and it will just quickly uh, import those features inside the element that we're calling it to. So in here, in values, in our package, we have more inside. There's a drawable the images, so the images are stored in the drawable package folder, and then in here values you'll see some Jetpack Compose was made to reduce the use of XML, but that doesn't mean that XML isn't used. So XML here is just storing the things that we want. So like if I had a string, I could store it in strings.xml. And themes, I could store it in themes.xml, and then call that XML file to another Kotlin class and just import that class into our activity and just use them. So here it's actually we're defining the colors, and these colors are later on being imported into this UI.theme package. So right now what we'll do, okay. Right now let's look back into our pathway. So let's see what, so we made the started, we have created the app, we have changed the layout, we made a vertical in the column.
Excuse me, Roshni. I'm sorry to disturb.
Yes. Yeah, no
I
problem.
believe some of us are not able to view the screen. Could you reshare your screen once again?
Oh, yeah, sure. One second. The network connectivity has gone down a bit. I think that's what's causing the problem.
That might be it. Yep.
Yeah.
But of course, online
Wait.
events do have that problem. You'll have to deal with it. So
Yeah.
it's fine. We'll try our best to resolve it in whatever way possible.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, my screen just froze. So it's like loading. Please
No
wait
worries,
for a
no
second.
worries.
Yeah.
You can take your time.
Yep.
Till then, let's just ask everybody how their progress is. Are you following with
Yeah.
Roshni? Have you gone ahead, or you know,
Yeah. And you can just
is there
like say
anything
if I need
interesting
to
that you'd like
change
to point out?
anything. Yep.
Varo says it's going well. That's great to hear, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Learning everything, eh? Web development as well as Android. Hashtag enjoying. That's great to know. In fact, actually, once we do create all these applications, the first one will be the dice roller today. Um, if you've made the dice roller along with us, feel free to post it on maybe Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever you're active, and add the hashtag. I just type it in the chat so you all get to know. Developer, student, pubs, hashtag compose camp, and hashtag compose camp India. So these are the three hashtags that you can use to post your progress online. It's going really good except this week. There are some things that happen, we can't control them. Of course, the net at the hostel, if you stay at the hostel, you
Yes.
realize the net is quite weak over here. Stay at home. I mean, yeah, that's a good suggestion. If uh, you know you have the privilege of going back home. You wanted to ask, yeah, okay. Do we require to pitch in a project? Well, there is an application that we need to submit on behalf of GDSE, Google Developer Student Club, Amity University, Mumbai. So currently, we do not have all the details of what the application is supposed to be. That will be provided to us soon, but we do definitely know that there is an application that we need to submit from the university. Just like last year as well, we don't have the details right now, but yes, like last year, we had to submit something. Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask: is this timing all right? 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Would that be a good time? I believe some of us are day scholars, and it's easier for us to join right now, right? Yeah. All right. That's great. We actually shifted the timings just because of this to give an equal chance for everybody to join. Yeah, we tried 5:30 actually, but the problem is there were a few people who travel by bus, and the last bus actually leaves at 5:30. So it would be very difficult for them to join the session while they're traveling. So most of us do reach home by 6:30, and that's why we have shifted the session this time. Of course, the duration is a little bit longer because we have um, more of technical stuff this time. NMMT. Do you travel by the local bus? Oh my god. Roshni, do we have our network back?
Oh, sorry, it's not actually connecting. Is it fine if we continue this same app tomorrow?
Let's just ask everybody. Would that be fine?
Yeah.
All right. Vancha says that's fine. Let's just have a. All right.
Yes, I'm not able to share my screen. It's something the launcher is not working. right now. I guess tomorrow I have to go to some better place with greater Wi-Fi.
We might have to, yeah, search for a location with a little bit
Yeah,
stronger network.
exactly.
Um, all right, Gaurav, do you have a question? Yep, the Cisco stuff will also be there. Oh, I don't actually know the timings. I have not checked that. Yeah, sure. All right, then if it's till 6 o'clock, then we are good to go, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a. It's not. It's like coming that it can't connect right now. Like even our Wi-Fi is just one bar, so there's a very bad reception.
Yeah, all right, it's no problem. It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Internet cannot be is something that's not in our control, so it's fine. We'll continue next time. The next
Yep.
session that we'll be having will again be at 6:30 tomorrow. Everybody can register through the event page gdsc.community.dev/amity-university-mumbai. You can go ahead and type that in the URL box, or of course, if you have our website bookmarked, that'd be great. All events can be registered through there, or of course, you can join through our live stream as well. Are there any questions that you'd like to ask right now before we leave?
Yeah. Feel free to ask any questions if any concept isn't clear, because there's still a lot that we haven't completed. But it'll be done in just like 20 minutes.
All right, Gaurav. We'll see you tomorrow then. All right. Thank you so much, Roshni, for conducting this wonderful session today. We'll continue where we left off today, tomorrow.
Yep.
And
Yes.
we'll get over with the DICE application. We'll start another application, I believe. That's tomorrow's agenda, right?
Yeah, we'll start another one using a different concept.
Also, if any of the attendees do wish to progress a little bit further than what we are discussing, please feel free to do so as well, because the pathways that we are doing are self-paced. So if you feel that you can finish the application beforehand, please do feel free to do so. We do not require you to follow exactly what we are doing. So of course, if you'd love to do that with us, that's great. We'll do it with you. And till then, um, all the best, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for attending. We'll
Yep.
close the meeting.
Thank you, Roshni. I'll
Bye.
be stopping the stream, and
Okay.
we'll be meeting tomorrow.